Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's the 7th of July 2024 and the time is 11:08 a.m. I'm feeling a little bit tired and kind of hungover, which is weird given I slept, according to the CPAP machine sleep record, for 9 hours and 36 minutes. So I feel worse than I felt yesterday when I only slept for 4.5 hours or something like that. So there you go. Weird. It's weird how my brain is recalibrating and dealing with the shock of having air pushed into it against its own will. Well, into my lungs. My brain's doing all sorts of funny things. I still feel a little bit kind of woozy and lightheaded, but not as bad as when I started it on the evening of the 4th and 5th. The 5th I was very, very, very dizzy and feeling kind of in and out, altered, and not shaky, but very, very faint and lightheaded. So yesterday I felt slightly less lightheaded, and today I just have this kind of nebulous spiraling just around my third eye, crown chakra area, just that kind of. But I'll come right. I've not long been awake, actually. I've been out sitting in the garden with Charlie and listening to Thomas Sheridan videos, and thought, time to come in and make our own video. Yes, my Charlie, I love you. And I worked hard yesterday. 4.5 hours of videoing yesterday. So maybe that's why I'm tired too, given I had the wild dance the night before. So I've probably depleted my energy levels somewhat, and I'll have to carefully balance out those resources. But anyway, we carry on with today's readings. It's a glorious day outside. I probably should go out somewhere nice, but I'll see how I feel. Maybe go somewhere for a little quick trip somewhere. Maybe go to Wynnum or something. I don't like to be housebound too much. It's not good for me. I'm a wild and free wolf woman spirit. I need to go and be out in the world and be free and roam and see what needs to be seen, and not be isolated in my feckin' house. But when I don't feel well, it's probably better to stay home and rest too. You're singing a song. Are you singing a song to the people of Earth, Charlie? You want to sing to them? You sing them a nice song? What song shall we sing them? Memories are of my beautiful dying socks and marzipan fruits, sweetness amidst the horror. Here's a photograph of marzipan fruits, which is pieces of marzipan shaped into fruit and then dyed to look like actual fruit, and delicious, but not quite as nutritious as the real fruits, by the way, but albeit delicious. 7th of July 2023. My Louisiana iris is blooming early. What beauty gifted to and or from sacred space on this glorious morning. What wealth amidst the bathos. Who am I to dare to feel lack when surrounded by such eternal love and exquisite beauty. Are we right, Charlie? Yes, we are. An important reminder, stay aware and celebrate all that is, was, and ever shall be, in all their fractalized manifestations. Gifts from the multiverses in abundance. A shehekianu for this first flower of the season. Here she is. Actually matches some of the shades in my top. Yes. She's in bud at the moment on the brink of bursting forth into full bloom, so I love it. I love it when my irises bloom and all my flowers bloom in the garden. We love it, don't we, Charlie? It truly is a gift from the sacred space to us. I'm home from my walk and an impromptu afternoon tea with Margot and her two little daughters. Miss Six, Susie, asked if I was a real witch. Miss Seven, Evie, asked if I would do spells with them. So they brought out cups of water for miniature cauldrons. And I taught them how to pray for protection and to put intention into their spell, the water, and to give gratitude then to close, and to give gratitude then to close circle. Then I encourage them to put the water on the garden plants so the spell can grow slowly but beautifully with the plant and the water is not wasted. They were happy and excited. I told them the real magic is love and kindness and wishing well for each other. They wanted to do a love spell for me, but I said no, as it impedes on free will, and love spells that go wrong can be very, very long-lasting and impact your life in negative ways. They seem to understand this truism. Margot gifted me the most delicious biscuits that came all the way from Canada and were in the shape of maple leaves and were maple flavoured too. Oh, that was very kind of Margot to gift me her own beautiful gifts of biscuits. They were delicious. And that too was a form of magic, the love she shows for me. It's very sweet. I feel very uplifted by their little heartfelt sentiments and magic. The magic of sweet, loving little children is the best and most powerful. Oh, and when I arrived, Margot teased me about my long socks, so I joked I looked like Pippi Longstocking. Then, when we were having our Canadian biscuits and tea, little Susie randomly starts brushing my hair, which was very soothing, as no one ever brushes my hair except my beautiful hairdresser Kylie. Then Margot looked at me in surprise because she said, "Oh wow, Susie made you little pigtails, just like Pippi Longstocking." I laughed. I said I was only joking, but someone with a capital S must have been listening in to our conversation. Very magic, very cute, because I don't think little Susie had ever seen the TV show Pippi Longstocking, which was kind of from our childhoods. So she intuited making my hairstyle look exactly like the little girl in that TV show from decades ago. was just delightful. Then when I got home, there was a text from my daughter inviting me to come see her show this Wednesday in the rehearsing process, which was a compromise, but not really good enough actually. But I went, didn't stand on my dignity too much, but I probably should have, given how dishonoured and disrespected I've been. Here I write, interesting. She had not wanted me there, so this is a peace offering of sorts. No, it was just a fucking compromise. She let another stage mother go to every show, including opening night and every night of the series of the show season rather, and take credit for everything. And I was treated like just some cast off kind of dirty rag in a way. So I'm livid to this day about that. Can you tell? Anyway, I had to get over it. It hurt, but I had to get over it. But I'm still a bit livid, still a bit raw about that. I haven't decided if I want to go or not. Shouldn't have gone. It's been a bit of a hurtful time. C'est la vie. Here's a photo of the lovely biscuits gifted to me by my beautiful friend Margot. And here's a photo of little Susie's little hairdo she did for me. Move your tail, Charlie. Me with little piggy tails. Men go wild when I wear pigtails to go dancing. I haven't done that for a long time because they go completely wild. Just get into almost a kind of a frenzy. It's like it's just freaking hair, a hairdo. I guess it does look kind of cute when I think about it. Probably makes me look even more Polish German than I normally look too. Oh dear goddess. But anyway, wasn't that cute how the little girl did my hair? Especially since, I don't have little children around me, and my own daughters don't really care that much to be around me, and so they're like kind of proxy grandchildren. I have to steal other people's children for sweet little vignettes in my life because, yeah, it's that pathetic, people. Oh, well, what can you do? But I took great delight in those little girls and the other little children in the neighbourhood that were kind and sweet and loving to me, with the onlooking supervision of their parents, of course. I miss the little boys that were down the road, the Scott family that moved away. They were sweet little ones. And yes, it's all very lovely. Here I posted a meme that I made myself. Oh, sweet little Mama T. And she remembers she's Jewish on occasion. Shabbat Shalom. I like how I did it with all the little balloons looking like eyes. Eyes are watching. The giant eye in the sky. The eternal eye. Well, anyway, work with me, babies. Work with me. So that was all last year. That lovely, delightful day I had with my little ones 1 year ago. My goodness. Now, July 7th, 2022. 1:07 p.m. I'm feeling slightly better today in spite of yesterday's ghastly horror at my inept doctor's inability to do right by me and give me a second course of antibiotics. I felt very weak this morning, but I'm now sitting on the grass with sunshine beating on my back to warm my lungs that struggle so. I managed to clean Charlie's birdcage, which was filthy and needed cleaning a week ago, but I was too sick, so that is progress. Actually, Charlie, we need to do that again. Yes, clean your cage. My friend Jackie phoned me yesterday to tell me I'm right about my doctor's negligence. She is a registered nurse and knows that with such long-standing lung problems, it was reasonable to need 2 courses of penicillin. She is sending me Bach flower remedies as she thinks I will benefit from them. Desert rose for my bronchitis and another flower essence for my ongoing grief. I am so grateful for her love and strong support of me. I told her I feel like I'm going crazy with how inverted our world is now. She said, "You are not crazy, Tanya. You were never crazy. You must keep going, doing what you do best and speaking your truth." I felt comforted. When I got home from my friend Lynn's place and walked into my home, I was surprised by the strong scent. She's pulling out her feathers, a little munchkin. By the strong scent of flowers permeating all through my house. The spirits are happy with the staunch love and care my beautiful friends gift me. Smiley face. Later I wrote, "Wow, someone detonated a bomb at the Georgia Guidestones, no doubt sending a message to the global elites about the depopulation agenda. One of the granite blocks is completely destroyed. I've written here GBI, but it should be FBI, says they still have bomb disposal on site, trying to cover their tracks actually, where they declared that they wanted a planet with only, I think, 100,000 or 100 million people left, or just a fraction of the world's population. Wickedness beyond belief. 7th of July 2021. Rough night, asthma bad, Socks was peeing all night long, as was I. Even the dog got up 3 times during the night. I'm starting to wonder if our drinking supply has been contaminated, and now it's proven with PFOS. No doubt other things they put in our water from time to time too. More wickedness beyond belief. She's saying Bobo again. Oh, my darling. Thank you to my beautiful friend who came to our rescue again. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Yes, we love Bobo very much. We do. We love him very, very much. We love all our beloved ones across the Vale very, very, very much. I'm now waiting on Socks to do a pee so I can collect a specimen sample for the vet. He peed through an entire bag of cat litter during the night. An entire bag that lasts a week he did in one night, by the gods. I had to change it with fresh stuff at 3 a.m. But now, Socks paws and Murphy's Law, he is all dried out just when I needed to get a pee sample. Hopefully I can get a specimen this evening and put it in the fridge to take first thing in the morning. He does not like the beads that get put in the tray to collect his urine, so he is holding off as long as possible. Oh, my sweet little darling. That was so traumatic for all of us too. I hope he doesn't pee into my cushions like he has done in the past. Stubborn cat, but not as determined as Mama T. I have a dreadful cold and asthma, so I've taken to my bed until the imminent delivery of the never-ending slosh. He has had 2 long drinks, so sooner or later it will have to come out of him again. My dear sweet man-cat, what a fright indeed it was. Very cold morning. I've barely slept, but I'm up and dressed. The house feels freezing. I've had to put a heater on or crawl back into my electric blanketed bed. My cousin Melissa Rose wrote, nice and warm hair and cans, short sleeve top on. I replied, sounds lovely. She replied, drizzly rain around though. I replied, sunny here but brisk. I'm trying to get Socks to a vet as he is getting weaker. Waiting on a reply as to when I can bring him there. Rose wrote, poor thing, will he be okay? Or do you think it's no hope? I hope he'll be okay. I replied, we will know after the testing tomorrow if I can get his urine sample. She replied, good luck with that. Been there, done that with one of my cats years ago, chasing him around with a sample jar, lol. Later I wrote, success, a pee sample at last. Good boy, Socks. I'm having another freak out. My dental implant crown feels like it has a crack in it. I paid $10,000 for those 2 front teeth with my small inheritance 9 years ago. The dentist at that time had promised me that the implant would last at least 30 years. I guess I'm now officially fucked and will be toothless as well. I will have to go to the public dentist, Monsters and Butchers, to see if they can fill it somehow. I think I won't go back to QE2 since the last dentist was so abusive and vile. My Indian lady dentist has left that clinic and she and I had a good rapport. She was actually a wonderful woman to me. She'd even call me back down, my spirit back down during treatment when she could see in my eyes that I'd disassociated and left my body. She would just very quietly say, you're okay, Tanya, you can come back now. And I'd be like, oh, and I would literally, instead of floating outside my body, I'd be back and, engaging with her again. She was a gorgeous soul who understood my trauma issues. Absolutely gorgeous. Hasima was her name. I don't know her last name. But Dr. Hasima, wherever you are, you're a beautiful soul and a wonderful dentist. I'm very sorry that dentist there at the QE2 probably didn't treat you right, because you were kind and loving and trauma aware and a good doctor. They don't hire good doctors there. They hire, by and large, mercenary fucking things. Although I have to say, there was a wonderful Vietnamese dentist there too, male, who was very kind to me when my Russian dentist was failing to extract a tooth. Mind you, it was very difficult. And I ran out into the hall. I said, you need to help me. I can't do this anymore. She can't do the job. He just looked at me and stepped in. And I remember vividly, he had to put his foot high up on the dentist chair to brace and reef the fucking tooth out of me. Because being male, I guess he had extra strength or more confidence to give it a good reef. Wow. And then he said, that's an anomaly, no wonder my colleague couldn't get the tooth out. You have 3 roots instead of 2 or whatever. I was like, why is that? He said, some kind of genetic fault. I went, oh, that's the one thalidomide my mother took when she was pregnant with me. Anyway, we just kind of nodded at each other. But even he was shocked. He said, that was extremely difficult even for me. but he was so kind to me. So they weren't all monsters and butchers. Some of them actually tried to do right by me. Oh, bless. But anyway, I just didn't go back to them after another male dentist was just so arrogant and condescending and sarcastic and snarly. Like, fuck you. Why am I being subjected to this? So the last one I went to was at the teaching dental hospital at the RBH, which I have to say, they were very, very good, very, very kind and very good. So you just have to keep trying until you find, people who are going to be treating you properly and good to you. Am I right? It's true of anything in life. Don't give up. Just keep fighting on till you find those who vibe with you and happily be part of your tribe and treat you with love and integrity and honour and kindness and sweetness, and slough the rest off. Anyway, here I write, perhaps I will try the School of Dentistry. It would mean letting students at my teeth, but they can't do much worse than the so-called professionals. No, they cannot. In loving memory of Catherine Kit Harris, who left us on this day in 2010, a dear sweet friend. No, left us is the wrong wording. She merely transitioned her physical form. She was one of my most beloved earth angels in life, and I feel strongly she has been one of my angels in the next dimension. Love is eternal. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Later I wrote, fever in the evening, fever all through the night. My bad cold is spiking. Yuck. The colder the air gets in my room, the more prickly my fever. I know it's not COVID, but I still feel like death warmed up and vomited out. I need to set my alarm for the morning so I can take the pee sample to the vet. Fevers and bad colds don't stop me. My memories don't seem to be coming up this week. Facebook is only showing 1 or 2 from many years ago. I'm worried they are deleting my memories and other status updates. Oh well, all my writing lost to the etheric void, more of my efforts wasted or lost. Shit happens, I suppose. It's not like anything I have to say is particularly joyful or important, but I did enjoy having an outlet for my voice. 7th of July 2020, 11:07 a.m. I just woke up with a headache. That's been happening for the past few mornings. Grr, but the sun is shining. I am alive and aware. What can the intrepid little psychedelic dreamer dare do today? More typing, more triggering until it's done. Then I will treat myself to more fun. I would drive to Byron, but I think I will wait until September when the weather warms up. Bobo could do with the day frolicking on Belongil Beach, and Mama T misses the sea. I asked myself, after alighting from the shower, mid-scrubbing my teeth, why I am splonging in the Shadowlands again, when I have been so happy, and COVID is over in Queensland, so there is nothing to fear. Only my ancient, pre-programmed, predestined traumas and the kissing of the hag, life with all its treachery, and the dancing with the dubuk on my roof, death with all its certainty. The old diaries could have all been burnt, forgotten, put aside, but that is only another betrayal of my life's blood, sweat and tears and small triumphs along the way. the way of a blossoming, unfurling warrior goddess who in her mid-30s was left for dead, so walked her zombie stance until she was ready to wake up and fully engage with life with all its myriad miracles and a few concentric cycling motherfuckers. Light and dark people. Begin the begin again, but I am getting stronger physically, clearer and sharper mentally at 55. I never would have thought the healing would come so late in life and so sublimely, perfectly. Sorry, Charlie, but it's hot in here. Whew. Even as it has been terrifying. The Tanya took no prisoners and brooked no fools in her cataclysmic train wreck of a carousel life, up and down rhythmically like a good fuck, and often without the cigar and the pat on the shoulder at the end. Rolls eyes. So I have to pat my own shoulder. The fresh wound from having that unyielding skin cancer spot excised, another scar to add to the original one. My shredded angel's wings are getting more of a splicing, but it will heal, and I will heal, and there will be great joy and rejoicing again. I feel it in my waters, I does, winky face. In the style of the Mothman Chronicles, I did not wake up at 37, but woke up at 47 with the end of that heinous will dispute, then hit the ground running. I have made enormous progress since the 6th of September 2012, when the will dispute ended. There were some serious health issues and some vicious attacks on my body and reputation, but I have dragged myself through. I am excited about what magic the next few years have in store for me, as we were all globally stymied and stifled by COVID-19. But I think the worst is finally over, unless you bonked a security guard or two in Melbourne. But for the rest of us who remained celibate and practiced social distancing from wandering diseased phalanges, we are going to be okay. Agenda 21 is now threatening us with swine flu and other calamities, so we must not get too complacent or smug. Here we are in 2024 and they're threatening us with bird flu, because they never stop with their evil. Just remember that. Take no notice. It's just them trying to terrorise you out of your wits. The more they terrorise you, the more they steal your immune system and your life force and your chi and your own personal mana and your own personal charisma, and they whittle you down and they whittle you down until you die of, quite often, just mental, physical, emotional, spiritual depletion. It's another way they kill you. By the way, it's the long game, but it's the other way they kill you. Don't buy into their evil bullshit programming. Mama T has spoken. Nay, we must celebrate life in ways that are safe for everyone and get on with it as best as we can. My skin cancer site is sore tonight. I need to get some cannabis for pain relief and to eliminate cancer cells. I wonder where I can get some. Oh well, the multiverses always provides. Winky face. No, she doesn't. Sometimes she likes to torture me, but it is what it is. Oh, trigger warning, because everything in my life is a huge fucking trigger, and I do believe I am rather trigger happy. Happy to be alive in spite of everything this life cost me. Some interesting memories from my diary. Saturday, 22nd of September, 2001. My goodness, that's a long time ago. I took Crystal in the afternoon to Bulimba. We went to the movies. We saw AI, Artificial Intelligence, and loved it. We had noodles for dinner. Then we went to Hawthorne Cinema to see Bridget Jones's Diary, which was also excellent. Then, on the way home, I stopped at Stone's Corner and bought a pizza. So I think Crystal and I had a very good day. I had a strange dream last night. People rushing into my bedroom, the door flung open, energy around my bed of distress. It actually wasn't a dream, it was kind of a vision. So I was consciously experiencing this, not asleep, if you know what I mean. I got the feeling people were asking for help. A digital clock in the dream showed 11:09. I realised later today that it probably meant the date 11/9, or rather 9/11, when the plane smashed into the Twin Towers in New York City, and the people rushing into my room are lost souls. I was afraid last night, thinking that David had sent negative energy to me, but I feel a lot calmer that it was probably lost souls from the building collapse, seeking help to reach the light. Last night I told them, you can't have me, you can't get to me, because they all kind of piled onto my chest and were throwing themselves on top of me, and I literally couldn't breathe, and it was very frightening. But tonight, now I know what it really was. I will pray that the lost souls are guided by their guardian angels to find the light. I will keep praying until the dreams stop. I feel bad that I did not help the ones who came to me last night. I was so afraid that they were sent to attack me. Now I understand what the symbolism of the door being thrown open means, the implosion. And it also explains my precognitive dream on midday of the 10th of September, where I dreamt of people rushing into my room, slamming and opening and closing my bedroom door repetitively, and sitting on my chest, feeling that I was being crushed. If only I'd known exactly where and what was going to happen, I might have been able to warn the people to evacuate the buildings, but I was only shown the helplessness and the fear and the energy of being in a hurry to escape, etc. Wednesday, 26th of September 2001, Kol Nidre. We went to shul tonight, that means temple. Burnt the clutch of the car on that steep hill, so the handbrake doesn't work, neither does the radiator, and the clutch is going. Also, the car doesn't accelerate like it used to. Labours on hills, etc. The car is stuffed, basically. My little Mazda 121 Shades hatchback. I'd had it a long time, 22 years. Big love energy and Shul. I almost blacked out today. My arm spasmed involuntarily, later diagnosed as hysterical conversions from the shock and the stress of seeing September 11 on top of all the other traumas I was dealing with on a daily basis. Thursday, 27th of September 2001, Yom Kippur, which is Day of Atonement. The kids and I spent the whole day in shul. Big love energy there again. Juan kept following me around. Also, Gordon. It was a bit odd how they used to follow me around as if they were in love with me. Both married men, by the way. Oh, it was hilarious. I guess I have a certain allure, that certain charisma of being unattainable, therefore desirable. I mean, my middle name is Desiree, for the love of all the gods. Juan came up to me after Ne'ilah and kissed me on both cheeks and wished me a good and sweet year and lots of fun. I replied that I could do with some fun. He said, so could I, or something about have fun with you too. So I looked at him sternly, and he sort of retreated inside himself. Being Mexican, he was a notorious flirt. I've never met a Mexican man that isn't, or a Latino man, that isn't a notorious flirt babies. But that was a bit cheeky of him, actually, to suggest by fun that he meant having sexual relations with me. Not just a bit, extremely bloody cheeky, knowing that I'm a single woman on my own, struggling with my 2 children, and they were just slathering. It's a chutzpah. It's a chutzpah. So when I shot him my death stare and I watched him wither, I was like, yes, behave. So I said, I'm going to get some food. Now bear in mind, he was a very attractive man, and there's nothing wrong with him per se in the charisma or the sexual, attractiveness states. It's just, it was my temple where I pray and they were dishonouring me. Am I right? Anyway. And I was much younger then, 2001. I was 36. I was still in my prime, babies. Dear goddess. Anyway, so I said, I'm going to get some food, and I left him standing there. I'm pretty sure he's married, even though he came to all the services alone, and he was indeed married, and his wife was so envious and hateful towards me. Ooh, was she hateful? I hadn't done anything wrong, hadn't led him on. All I did was go to shul to pray to my God and have all these married men follow me around like sad saps. It's just ridiculous. He asked me if I'm going to Geraldine and Ori's Sukkot dinner, BYO. I said, yes, but I hope you bring your wife on Friday, putting him immediately back in his place. It's a bit obvious that he likes me, as he's always coming up and hugging or kissing me. Gordon, too, seems to be paying me a lot of attention. Scary. Well, there's nothing wrong with good, kind, platonic, sweet, agape, sometimes affectionate love. I take the love where I can get it, But if I'm not returning that sexual energy to you, letting you know of my interest and my hopes and delights of sharing something of a sexual nature with you, don't take my kindness and run with it, married men. Do not confuse my kindness for weakness either. Anyway, where was I? Look, to be honest, they were all a little bit in love with me because they could see. There I was, struggling in deep, deep poverty with 2 teenage children with extreme trauma issues, holding my own in a community, Jewish community, where there was a lot of toxicity. And those men, I think, kind of probably, on some level, wanted to be a little bit paternalistic and felt sorry for me, you know. Gordon, I have to say, did help me. He helped me a lot, lent me money when I was really struggling. And, you know, there were real deep, profound kindnesses. But there was also moments like that of deep, profound sleazy slathering too, which I thought was dishonouring, disrespectful, because, you know, I pray as an equal in my Reform temple. I read from the Torah and I get called to the Torah, and I'm as equal as any man. So when they started treating me like a sexual object of, you know, some kind of second or third class citizen needing to be lusted over, it was very, very insulting to my sensibilities, by the way. And yet I still persisted in praying in that space because it meant a lot to me back in those days to be a practicing Jew. Now I've let it all pretty much slide, but anyway, it is what it is, babies. 'Tis what it is. Je ne regrette rien. During the day, Judith gave me $50 towards fixing my car, or whatever I need it for, she said. That was very, very kind. I didn't want to accept it, but she insisted, and I really need it, so I accepted it. She wants to be friends and to pick me up if my car breaks down and bring me to the Sukkot dinner. Also kind. Ah yes, I remember now what happened at that Sukkot dinner. It's how I met. Never mind. It'll come up in the memories at some stage. And wants me to see her house in Blackrock out Ipswich way. I kind of think, looking back now with hindsight 2020, that meeting with that very handsome young man was also a setup, like a test to see what I'd do and how far I'd go with it. It was kind of ugly. It's kind of ugly and sordid how that got manipulated, by the way. And I worked that out at the end. I got the truth always comes out at the end, babies, with Mama T. Anyway, there it is. Here I write, and I should have followed my fucking initial intuition, by the way. I want to keep my distance a little bit, though, as I feel bad that I'd complained about my car not going very well, and she wanted to give me money. She actually said, if everyone here gave you $50, you'd be able to buy a new car. I laughed nervously, saying that would be sheer, unmitigated greed, and I wouldn't expect it, adding that I'm looked after by the shul members as it is, meaning that they'd let me pray for free instead of paying for the hire of the hall for the high holy days. Also the loan from one of the men, which I don't want to mention as well. All in all Although the fasting and prayers were arduous, the love and positive healing energy in the room of asking God for forgiveness for our sins, the cleansing of our etheric bodies in preparation for the new year, made the day a joyous one. After the service, I drove Margot home. I insisted, a different Margot to the lady I mentioned earlier. As a background, all this intensity was just after 9/11, and in my own life, I had just posted the Health Rights Commission complaint about Davidson, and he had already menacingly stalked me at Stone's Corner that week, so my nerves were very sensitive. A few things come to mind. The Habibi Club, as I joked about various men in our shul who were so drawn to me, and although rather flirtatious, I held at bay. Some of the women who were so generous and supportive with donations, while simultaneously I was variously stabbed in the back because they did not comprehend my trauma issues or my poverty. Although Judith was not part of that, I don't think, as she was new to our little community, but the awfulness that occurred later was beyond ugly. However, to be fair, I was in the throes of a major breakdown precipitated by my mother and her conman bastard boyfriend, Buck. So going to an island for healing with an ex-lover who I was not told was going to be there was a really vile and shitty idea on her part. Ho-hum. My infamous light that attracted so many abusers was not really working for me, back then or even now. I was struck by how much my feminine mystique and earthy, often unconscious sexuality went against me. I was not even trying to seduce anyone. I was only interested in raising my girls safely, keeping myself safe, and praying to my God with my community, which took enormous courage, especially with the ever-present Nazi libel. Men getting fucking besotted with me for no reason except I showed up. Hashem. And my old car bombing out at almost every holy day like it was trying to protect me from everyone. My little chariot of fire, Badum Tish, would break down every high holidays. You could set the clock by it. So after a few years of that, I realised no accidents in the multiverses. My Jewish God was trying to keep me away from that toxic, vile community, by the way. Isn't that sweet? And then when I inherited and bought my brand new car, the number plate on my Mazda 3 adds up to, in Gematria, to the Ein Sof, which is the Kabbalistic name of God. So yet again, I'm being protected in my movement with my chariot with God's name. No accidents in the multiverses. I mean, you kind of have to laugh, don't you? But here I write, all jokes aside, I now drive in a car I fought hard for with the evil, atrocious will dispute, and it's getting older too, but the number plate says the Ein Sof, so I knew when that car arrived that only God had protected me and provided me with another new vehicle. I live on the edges of society at the mercy of men and Big Daddy, the government, while being viciously attacked back in the day for being fearless, female, and standing my ground. Pardon me. But God gave me a car. Why does God keep giving me cars and computers? For my freedom to move unhindered and escape, if necessary, pardon me, and for my right to speak my truth, even if it hurts. My psychiatrist pointed out to me in therapy that I never or rarely actively seek people out for friendships, love affairs, or social connections. They almost always come to me. I don't often choose people of my own volition. Trust issues from my CPTSD. Also, abuse dynamics and abandonment issues when it all goes to hell in a handbasket, which I have long experienced. Sighs. I just had a lovely walk in the neighbourhood with Charlie and Beauregard. Charlie bit me for no good reason when we got home. I had to laugh. I told him if I bit him back, he'd be a dead bird. Yes, you would, if I bit you back. You transgender, cross-gender, budgie, psychedelic budgie for a psychedelic dreamer. Yes, I love you, but don't bite his to mama. That's not kind. But Charlie whatevered, and I whatevered. Oh, and we all, that went into my hair. Did it? Yes, it did. Oh, Charlie, that's a real whatever on your part, isn't it? Bit shitty, a bit crappy, right in my hair, splotch. Where was I? But Charlie whatevered, and I whatevered, and we all lived happily ever after, which, all things considered, was no mean feat, pun intended. You know, it says in the Torah, you shall not suffer a witch to live. The reason for this patriarchal biblical injunction was that men feared women. Indeed, they still do, babies. They feared our power, our bodies, and our love, our magic. Emmanuel, that would be that filthy animal Emmanuel Meshes. He's dead now, but my opinion of him remains the same. Even accused me of being a witch in his filthy Kabbalah classes where he obsessed over my vagina, a sacred space he had only lived in vicariously via his filthy, lecherous friend, David Davidson. He assumed ownership over my space by abusing me regularly, but ultimately the Tanya put a stop to that, grew her own balls and walked away. I still laugh how he went completely white in the face when I told him, you think you are insulting me by calling me a witch? But you don't know my background, and I would be very careful of insulting my ancestor if I were you. I am one, whether I practice any ritual magic or not. I don't even have to try. In recent months, or even the past year, as I grew into my own power after surviving the last surgery beset by violating, abusive men in the guise of doctors, I realized that my magic is real and uncontaminated and comes from a very pure and holy source. My magic is love, which kept me alive in the darkest, most debased of times, of which there were too many, even in my own early childhood. Love for Mrs. Robertson, the only mother I could lean on for support as a small child. Love for the sea, which nurtured me when all my family of origin were so fucking bestial. And the adult women in my neighbourhood were more fearful of their reputations than saving a little girl. But they fed me well, that is true. Mrs. Robertson, who loved me so dearly, had a kind of symbiotic relationship with me, as she was so alone and isolated in her own depression and traumas with her violent, abusive, drunk husband, and she had no real friends apart from my own tiny self who needed her desperately. Knowing that we were both so alone and unloved and unprotected in that beautiful wild place, the Esplanade Island Bay, with only the gulls and the sea and Tangaroa and the earth sprites to honour us as women, the little Tanya child and June, the broken inner child, trapped in a woman with a burden she did not have the mental fortitude to carry. I honour her, June, my true and only mother, for at least trying to provide me a safe haven to escape to, while Lynn and I hid under her twin beds, and June would bravely lie to my mother that we weren't there, although there were other times when she gave us up, as my mother was utterly feral and terrifying in her rages. C'est la vie. I made it. The old evil bitch is dead and can't hurt me anymore, but she is still my mother, an imprint of evil that I will never completely shake off. But today is a glorious day, and tomorrow will be too, and these old diaries are gifts of little time and space vignettes, some painful, some whimsical, like my beautiful Mexican friend Juan, who loved me dearly but was held at bay for obvious reasons. I had my honour and integrity intact, except with that passionate, wild love affair with the son of Solomon. Ha ha ha. Reading through my diaries, how I suffered for love of or from him, while trying to be a good, decent, honourable woman, and oh how magnificently I failed. But I did not choose him, and in the beginning I felt coerced and actually frightened. However, it was the making of me. At 36 years of age, discovering my passionate side after being abused for so long that I felt ugly and dead inside. A gift, n'est-ce pas? To reclaim my womanhood after decades of immolation. And now I am the true epitome of my own becoming. Beautiful, powerful, alive, vibrant, and free. So thank you to my enemies, and thank you to my true beloveds. We made it together in this fucked up paradigm and distorted, thwarted life. I love you. I see you. Be happy. Be free. Amen. V'salah. Yes, thinking about that lover, he was the third sexual partner. Is he the third or the fourth? Yes, he was my third sexual partner in my entire life at age 36. And, he was handsome. He was so fucking handsome. But in effect, the first time he seduced me was actually really, in real terms, let's be real here, a rape. And it was bizarre. It was a bit fucking bizarre. But I got to thinking about it just now. It was almost a message, a reminder ran through my head. A man who's truly in love with you moves heaven and earth to be with you. And that has been my experience in the past. But I don't want to be overwhelmed and coerced and pressured and raped. I want to be loved fully, completely, honouringly, with great desire, but also devotion and respect. That's what I want. But can I get it? It's in the lap of the gods. But yes, that was a very important reminder. I don't even know how I fell in lust with that man, given that, to all intents and purposes, that our first encounter he had in effect raped me. I guess, as my doctor and my psychiatrist explained to me, it was me fighting with my inner spirit, my Bodhisattva spirit, to gain mastery over the psychopath and to get something back that had been taken from me. And did I get back what was rightfully mine ultimately. My spirit, my mana, and my fierce warrior goddess attributes as well. Yes, never fuck with the Tanya in a way that is destructive or dehumanizing or debasing. I have little ways of getting revenge. Babies. Even if I don't enact the revenge, my ancestors that love me and my Jewish God and my angels will conduct the smiting for me. Sometimes I need do nothing but put out a prayer and cry out about the great injustice that's been done to me, and it all gets cleaned up very, very astonishingly, sometimes quickly, sometimes it takes 20 years. But as my friend Lynn often reminds me, I always get the end of every story. And that's been proven over the last 59 years. I always find out what people's true intentions were towards me when they played me false, pretended to love me when they actually only had hatred in their hearts and souls for me. Dave Charles, Sarah Burt, examples there. I always see the rot just find its own level and settle into its own quagmire of mush. And I always walk away, head high, kicking the turds away from my feet, by the way. Let go, let love, let real, authentic, powerful, juicy, gorgeous, real loves find you. Wait for it. It's available to you. You just have to let the shits go. Dress up, show up, dance, rejoice in your own being, and the real loves light up all around you like a giant chandelier that one day you'll be swinging from, because they'll uphold you and they'll treasure you and they'll cherish you and they'll honour you and they'll protect you, and most important of all, they'll love you, and they will never rape you or put you down or make you feel worthless or ugly or unlovable. They will consistently pick you up when you fall into your dark abyss, gifted you by decades of trauma and horror. And they will hold you in their arms and delight in you and hold you precious. That, my friends, is the power of real love and good and kind people, of decency and honour and integrity. And if you're being treated any less than that, learn the power of saying no and walking away. Don't waste time loving the loveless, the empty, the sadistic, the cruel, the bloodless curs. All that energy could have been transmuted into making beautiful things grow, including my own self. Took me a long, long time to recover, though, from the ghastly shock and horror of how badly I had been treated. It was almost, well, it wasn't almost, it was indeed something out of a horror movie, except it was my reality for decades. Here I write, just typed up this funny memory. Wednesday, 10th of October 2001. I was doing a lot of processing on this day in July. What year was that? What year was I doing all this processing? It's very fucking powerful, and I'm feeling a bit kind of overwhelmed by it, even now after all this time. Yeah, where is it? 2020. Did a lot of deep processing. That was also in April, that year that I burnt, 27th of April, I burnt Teddy, the gift from my pedophile godfather that I'd kept all those years since I was 9 years old. Did a lot of processing. I did a lot of cleansing and purging of ancient traumas. I did a lot of clearing so I could be clean and clear to invite the one into my life at long last. Just why when I say to you, I'm ready or I feel ready, I pretty much am. But now the one has to be ready to take me on with all aspects of my being, and that person may not even exist, quite frankly. May never be ready for me, may never be a real love available to me. Just people that frotter on the internet, get excited by my videos based on what? It's all very sweet and charming and lovely, giving me lovely compliments, but this is not a dating channel, you know. So calm your farm, my sweet ones. Find your own women in your own local area that, you know, you can build a life with, not fantasy people on the internet telling you all their wounds and all their traumas and all their triumphs and all their becomings, which are very exciting to some of you. But calm your fucking farm. Where was I? I've skipped somewhere. Yes, we've lost it. Where was I up to? Wednesday, 10th of October 2001. I drove to Maruka to Oscar, which is the name of a community housing agency they had back in the day, to put my name down for community housing. Then I went to Pinelands to look at real estate rentals. I was really wanting to get out of the house my mother had allegedly bought for me, since it was a lie and they were doing nothing but abusing me. Fucking bastards. Her and her then boyfriend. Oh, they were rotten. They were putrescent and rotten to the core. But they're dead now, and I'm not the least bit sorry for them. A Lebanese fruiterer saw me. He had a librette and homey type shorts. He was singing. I thought it was quite delightful. I went to the fish and chip shop owned by Chinese. The Lebanese guy walked in, saw me eating and broke into, "When the moon hits your eye, it's a big pizza pie. It's amore." I dropped my head as I had to stop myself from laughing hysterically. I think he followed me in, but he might not have, but the song he sang was pretty funny. Tanya, you're so slow on the uptake sometimes. Of course that man followed you in and was singing that to you to flirt with you, you moron. You should have taken him up on the uptake. After all, you had nothing better going on in those days. Dear goddess. But anyway, it was a strange way to meet a man, and I just saw the funny side of it. Another of my psycho unexpected messages. Now that's 3. The Japanese girl, the Irish guy, and now the alternative Lebanese fruiterer, who, let's face it, was a little bit too fruity, am I right? How weird. There might be 3 more encounters, unless I missed some, or unless the Frenchman, thank you for your attention, counts. I was told I would have 6 unusual encounters before I finally go home to the place I'd always dreamed of. I hope they mean Israel. Anyway, 3 down, 3 to go. All I need now is enough money or to find a really good job. P.S. I never made it to Israel, but I did quite mysteriously get to go home to Wellington, New Zealand, at the end of 2004 for 3 weeks, although that trip was epically sabotaged by my sister's viciousness and my own deep depression and trauma when I looked at my childhood home in Island Bay. I cried and cried, then took to my bed. Shame. My only trip back to New Zealand, and it was such a horrid experience, except that I got to see Tully and John Hookman, and my childhood friend Lynn Robertson flew me to Auckland so we could see each other again. That was wonderful. P.S. Just finished the second last diary. Phew. One diary to type up, then done. I'm archiving them on 2 flash drives. One is a portable hard disk, which I think it's my daughter's, and so she would have deleted all of that out of spite probably. She told me I could save it on her disk and then took it back off me, so... Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Anyway, I've got them still preserved somewhere, so... And if they get lost, then they get lost. Everything fades away and disappears from this earth, including me eventually, so it's no good grieving over things that haven't happened yet. So hopefully I never ever lose them or have to type them up again. It took me months and months. The hard paper copies are burnt, so there is no clutter of paper trails in my house, except the will dispute. I still have to release that evil shit. Took me ages to release that. I kept holding on to it, thinking, in case I need some proof or evidence or some information. And eventually I just took it out and burnt the lot, and the release I got from that was amazing. But it was interesting how I held on to it too. Fuck, I feel good tonight. I'm so happy with my progress. Everything has been sorted. The hindsight, 2020 vision, back to 2001 has been painful but extraordinary. I feel so vindicated looking back at all the 2-bit players in my former life and knowing that I will never have to see or hear from any of them again, especially the ones who tried to double agent me like wannabe Mossad agents and lied and slandered me into their own obliteration. Dumb motherfuckers that they were. And back then, they had me so confused, I doubted my own sanity. I had my kids to worry about, of course, so I could do little to get actual justice or retribution, and instead, the gods took care of my abusers for me. Thank you to the Holy One who protected me as best he could and built me this way, wild and free, powerful and brave, with a touch of whimsy. For my most beneficial outcome, I can see the path is clearing for me to take a great leap into the void and fly. Now a song from that dead ghost of a homeopath, a word from his sponsor, ha ha ha, Madison Avenue. Who the hell are you? He used to sing it to me, David Davidson, when he was alive. The song had just come out on the radio. Who the hell are you to treat me like that? You don't know where you've been, where you're going, where you're at. Fuck off, motherfucker. Don't think you're going to haunt me with your stupid memories of songs when you were so filthy and disingenuous. Here's another one. Or was it this one? Giggles. Madison Avenue. Don't call me baby. I used to sing that to him too. Don't call me baby. Don't underestimate me, boy. I'll make you sorry you were born. But it's okay. I had much more edifying lovers after him. A few. So, yes, the son of Shlomo was the fourth lover because Davidson was lover number 3. So, time is having me forget. Time heals all wounds, babies. Heals all wounds. He was number 3, Nahum was number 4, and Courtney was number 5. And then there were a few mumbles after that, but they're not worth mentioning because they were low-grade scum, so like the other ones. All of them low-grade scum. So now you know why I'm determined to remain free until the right man and I find each other and choose each other and love each other and make a commitment to be together, because he has to be right for me and I have to be right for him. No more scum, treacherous, vicious, low-life dogs. I've done that 10 years ago, up to 10 years ago. I'm done with that. It's taken me all this time to heal, by the way, and blossom out in love again. Real love, potent love, gorgeous, delightful, edifying, nurturing, protective, genuinely authentic, caring love. That's what I'm wanting out of life. How about you, babies? The more the trickster gods play me, the more I get my own power back, dickheads. This is the thing. That one had no idea who he was playing at, or playing with, or torturing, by the way. I verily was really kind of tortured by him. I verily was. And his sleazy, filthy friend Emmanuel at Kabbalah classes. Filthy they were. But anyway, here we are, holding my own all these decades later, as I do. It's a living, people. 11:01 p.m, second last diary finished. Enough torture for tonight. Gonna shut myself, nice cup of tea, then go to bed. I commented to this meme. Uh-oh. I rather like that. I think I do dance like that. Dance like your vagina's on fire. Baby, baby, baby. Wow. There's fire and then there's fire. My friend Laura Martin wrote, I think maybe she needs some penicillin. And I replied, or a bloody good scratch. It's all good as long as she's not permeating the nostrils of every customer in the pub like a former friend I had. She needed a bit more than penicillin. Here I write, here's another meme I posted. Oh no, I've lost my ability to be normal. Whatever shall I do? Indeed, whatever shall I do? Shall we dance the dance of the 7 scars? As though we were on fire, baby. Ramjet got to see me in full fiery, volatile, powerful, energetic thrust in the gods we trust. When they played the last song on Friday night, my beautiful ones played me Zombie. It's a great honour, by the way, that they played me Zombie. They know. That's Mama T's war cry song. It's a good song to go out with a bang, babies. It's how you know when people love you, when they honour you with your favourite songs. Yes, Charlie. There's 3 things you should know about me. 1, my circle is small. 2, I'm loyal to the end. 3, never fuck me over. That is so fucking true. It's I can't remember his name. It was Sonny, wasn't it? Anyway, it's the guy from Godfather. But it's true. If you make it into my small circle, you've earned your right to be there by showing me consistently that you truly do love and care for me and that you're trustworthy. And thank you to my beloved ones who hold up. They're part of my circle. 7th of July 2019, 1:55 a.m. Home from dancing at the Livewire. At the Livewire bar. Cold now. We should go out in the sun, Charlie, after this. And Mummy also needs to get some food, something for our dinner. Well, my dinner. Your dinner's sorted. But yeah, I need to get food, I need to go out, I need to enjoy the sunshine. But meanwhile, 2019, dear goddess. Home from dancing at the Livewire bar. I promised myself I would not dance much and take it easy. Still in recovery from the gallbladder surgery. I did have lots of breaks as my side hurt a lot from where the drain and the stitches are. I had fun with my friends though. My body is extremely pissed off with me for pushing myself. I left at 1 a.m. and went to the 7-Eleven for some lemonade to take 2 Panadol with, as it hurt a fair bit and I still had to drive home. I had no alcohol all night. I'm too scared to drink now, as I know my body won't be able to hold the liquor like I used to be able to when I still had my gallbladder. Getting older is not for sissies, but I'm glad I got to dance again. I've had a wild time of it. What with the pizza at 4 p.m, then the dancing at night. Richie told me to go back to the doctor to find out why the pain is still present. I told him they literally give no fucks about me, and after the epic abuse at that hospital, I have zero trust in any of the filthy bastards. He suggested his doctor who saved him from cancer. I guess it only takes one decent, good doctor to save a person's life. I will think about it. Last night, I told Richie how prescient he was when he quipped he was gonna pour wild turkey on my grave, and I joked back that I was going to precipitate it right back at him. I told him a week later I was booked in rather hurriedly for surgery and how it all went to hell in a handbasket, as the doctors were so creepy, and that on the night in the hospital I did feel my breath slipping away, so it came close. Death, I mean. But I had fought my way through it, and 12 days post-surgery forced myself back up on my feet to go dancing. I told him we need to stock up on Jack Daniels just in case, as I still feel like death slightly warmed up. He said he will make libations with me to the gods. Lol, we didn't. I was too scared to drink. I told him my funeral will be amazing, but only 3 people would probably turn up from the casino. He said, I will be the first to be there, pissing on your grave. Little bastard he was. Oh my goodness. I laughed. I will be pissing right back and watching everything with great curiosity. Then I tweaked his nose and he leant in rather too close and demanded I get better soon, as he thinks I am awesome. I told him he is my favourite He is my favourite bone pointer and should really stop trying to kill me. Then we both laughed and laughed. In the lift to go to the car, a sweet Asian woman asked if I was okay. I told her I'd recently had surgery and had pushed myself by dancing more than I planned on. She admonished me for wearing high heels and to take things easy, and that I should go back to the doctor to find out why the pain is still bad. They probably left something inside. I said, yeah, like their organs to replace my one. We both laughed, but only because there is some horrific truth in that. When I got out of the lift, I thanked her for her empathy. It did strengthen me to know a random stranger cared about me as a person. It's odd, the little gifts in the night. I always find them so magical. Update, 7th of July, 2020. I haven't seen Richie since December. I hope he is safe and well. Hopefully when the Livewire bar at the casino opens up again, I will dance with him again. He was very kind to me, apart from the inadvertent, prescient bone pointing. We did used to trigger each other with both our PTSD and took turns soothing each other when one or the other's blood was up. But I always knew he had my back, a sweetheart. He was a bit too sweet on me in a way, but I reminded him we were friends, and that is infinitely more precious to me. Dave showed up to stare, and Richie told me to behave as I deliberately wiggled my luscious ass to remind him of what he tried to destroy. Lol. All good. By the gods, we had fun, meaning Richie and I. The 147th fastest gun in the West. My triggered tongue and assets, just saying. Oh, you have to laugh. Love is eternal, even when it's infernal. Yes, Charlie. You know nothing about infernal love, Charlie. All you've ever had is pure, delightful, sweet, agape, unconditional, devoted, sweet. Did I mention sweet? Love. And no boy birds. No boy birds for you, Charlie. No, 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 no. Good, it's 10:01 a.m. Might as well get up. 7th of July 2019, I posted a memory from the year before, 2018, and I stated this was a very special night. Brisbane Cacao Ceremony, 6th of July 2018. So grateful to share the evening with such a beautiful group of people. Even many of you came for the first time. The group felt so cohesive and at ease and made it so easy to dive into a deep ecstatic state from the very beginning. Thank you, H, for the exquisite acoustic embrace, and everyone for the openness and effusive energy that formed the beautiful vortex of liberation and joy last night. Love, heart. So I don't know if Adrian wrote that or if Monica wrote that, but very beautifully written. Well done on that. And here's a photo of us all. Yes, all of us at ecstatic dance, being very, very ecstatic indeed. Of course, I was one of the older members of the group, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Age is only a number. It's all about the ecstasy and the joy and the dance. 12 days post-op. I have not had any hot chips. Oh my goddess, I miss them. Or anything alcoholic to drink. Longer, as I was careful before surgery to not drink alcohol. Now my fiery Jewish Viking witch spirit truly misses her wine or Jack Daniels, but I'm doing well without it. I was never a heavy drinker, unlike those perverted creep doctors at the Princess Alexandra Hospital try to claim, while staring at me slack-jawed, sexually stroking their thigh. So I can live quite well with or without alcohol, and also with and without sexual predators, by the way. Their white coats, the filthy, dirty bastards. I should have reported them or got them all fucking deregistered. But the thing is, all those years of training wasted. We need doctors, but why did they have to target me? The dirty dogs. Well, if they targeted me, I won't be the only single woman that comes under their care. It's a horrifying thought what they got away with, by the way. Bastards. But living without hot chips, too much, laughing my ass off. I am sure I will be back to imbibing my favourite foods and drinks in the near future. Mummy can't have too many chips though. It goes straight through her. Not nice. And I used to really, really enjoy them. Only in small quantities, as my liver has to process it without the scalding inflamed gall. And without the gallbladder, I don't have enough bile to break down the fat. So it's not pretty, people of Earth. So, baby steps. Mama T has to love herself holistically, as no one can inhabit this body but her. It's not easy choosing life after every fucking epic, horrific fight during recent events, but I am doing it, indomitable and proud of myself. Oh, and bugger, but I ran out of chocolate. And my friend Laura wrote, "Out of chocolate! Ah!" And I wrote back, "I know, right? Torture." I'm lying back in bed as I feel exhausted again. It was a gorgeous sunny morning. Then out of nowhere, a heavy rain shower which soaked all my washing again. And Charlie, who was enjoying being outside, so we are dry and warm again. He, or rather she, is singing in his room. The dog is beside me and I am weary but content. Too tired to chase Quetzalcoatl at the local IGA supermarket. Maybe tomorrow. Laura wrote, "I'm sending George Washington in a stealth aircraft with a basket of chocolate ASAP." I love how she keeps up with me with my humour. I love her. I love you, Laura. I don't know if she watches my YouTube videos, but I adore you, woman. And I replied, cool. I will probably flip his wig though. I have that effect on men who wear wigs, especially family court judges who discriminated against women all day on the day I was there to receive my decree nisi. The demon spawn had no business being a judge. But where was I? Oh yes, breathes chocolate. I shall await his imminent arrival by stealth or by health. I have no cherry trees for him to cut down, so he better behave himself. America, the beautiful, give me a break. Laura wrote, you need to get well and back on your feet soon. You are missing out on the most epic Martin family war ever. P.S. Remind me again how you deal with people trying to gaslight you. And I wrote, the only way to win the game is not to play. Then she sent me a meme. Don't let this happen to you, Tanya Aarons. You have to laugh. Day 12 without chocolate. Lost hearing in my left eye. It's a bit like that, actually. Ah, Laura, you Satan whisperer, you, laughing my ass off. I love your quirky sense of humour. It reminds me of my own. I see you shaking that ass. I mean, I would have heard it if I had chocolate. Just delightful. I'm always barefoot at home. Even as a child, I would try to go barefoot. My mother would hit me in the face and scream at me as she feared I would get chilblains, which I did once and were extremely painful, or a bronchitis or cold, which I got frequently anyway, as I survived both whooping cough and measles when I was 4. But I highly recommend walking barefoot on earth. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Let her take the pain and shame and degradation foisted upon us by our family of origin and fucked up society and transmute it. I also believe in sleeping naked, not in mixed company with strangers, of course, unless you choose to, but owning your own breath, body and sacred space and allowing your skin to breathe. Priceless and very healing. And this I wrote in response to a meme posted by Jan Attridge. Walking barefoot helps stimulate all your organs. It is wise to set time aside each day to stand barefoot outside on grass, soil, sand, etc. This puts us in direct contact with the electromagnetic healing properties of the earth. And then it shows a bit of a diagram of where all the points are that you connect with when you walk barefoot. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I just did some EFT tapping with the intention to heal. Ow! My love relationship, or that should really be torturous, evil, sadistic, cruel, malignant, non-love relationship with Dave Charles, i.e. let go at last, or get back together this time in a committed, loving relationship. That was ridiculous of me, to be fair. I was more focused on the letting go part, as it is so hopeless indeed. Toxic it was. So I'm still sitting out in the garden when I see a black Jeep do a U-turn and go back down Diamond Street. I've never seen this black Jeep in the neighbourhood before, For a moment my heart stopped as Dave drives a black Jeep, or used to, but an older model. I was simultaneously watching Afterlife on Gaia.com. Anyway, I was a bit stunned by the visual message so soon after the tapping, which made me feel lightheaded. Last night at the Live Wire bar, I saw Crossy's son with another bikie staring at me from behind the tables. I stared back long enough for them both to know I saw them. Then, cool as a cucumber, turned my back. I was still in pain from my surgery and probably should not have gone dancing. Joe asked me what was wrong, and I said I had seen someone dangerous. So she put her arm around my shoulder and we carried on dancing to make it less obvious that I was a bit rattled, which was very kind of her in that moment in time. I have felt that I was being monitored or spied on by members of that clubhouse for the past few months, but I have no idea why. I've not had any contact with any of them since 2012. Weird. Probably just curiosity on their part to see what I'm doing in life now. Same old, surviving and dancing and living my best life, am I right? It was them that drove me out of the clubhouse for fighting for myself and defending myself, my own honour, from another male threatening to rape me. So I owe them no apologies for how I reacted, and I owe them nothing, actually. 1:11 p.m. I witnessed 11:11 a.m. today also. My angels are very activated today. I saw another confirmation when I did some EFT tapping earlier. So, ho-hum, on we go. The life of the Tanya. Strange little incongruent queen of my own destiny, still fending off death who is smirking at me from dark corners as she knows I will come along quite graciously at the end. But she sent me so much love and peace and primal will of courage on the evening of the 25th, 26th of June, that I lay there smiling blissfully and stupidly unaware of the strange episodic trickster unfoldment of events yet to occur on the morning of the 26th of June. A nurse woke me up just as I was following that last exhalation to its almost natural conclusion. It was like drifting on a peaceful red sea and waiting for the next inhale, which seemed to not be coming, and for once there was no fear or panic, only a gentle, loving acceptance. Not quite an NDE, as it was fueled by the anaesthetic interfering with my lungs, something the hospital staff feared more than I. But that beautiful peace and grace and watchfulness as I journeyed on that breath was, I hope, a forerunner of what is to come. But here I am, back. The bitch is back. I obviously still am required to be here, whether I like it or not. Curious and curiouser. I wonder what life has in store for me, mindfully breathing my own light and destiny, one day at a time. She is purring and trying not to pose, although she hates Mama T. Pussy Ratzi. Oh, my beautiful girl. My beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girl. It's going to be difficult because I do this one-handed because of Charlie. Can you see her? There she is. My angel face. Penny. Miss Penny. She nursed me all through that post-operative surgery. She nursed me, that cat. Here I write. She nursed me back to health. A pussycat. Courage and determination. 7th of July 2018. Another one who was very loving and protective of his mama. He's very smoochy today. Mama T was out 2 nights in a row, so now I'm a prisoner of his love. He missed me, my little baby boy. Oh, Charlie, my goodness. Coming down from my ecstatic dance high, cooking dinner, feeling peaceful and a tad nostalgic. What goes up must come down. Equilibrium in the harmonic spheres. A good meal will settle me nicely. Cooking pumpkin soup and homemade pizza dough as I am hungrier than a horse. Watching Hannah Gadsby, Nanette, utterly brilliant, at Hannah Gadsby. Thank you for Nanette and your courageous authenticity, pardon me, and your heart and your soul. You, my dear, are fucking brilliant and real and sublime. God bless you on your journey to wholeness. So very proud of you. Pardon me. So very proud of you. And awe-inspired from a straight woman survivor. I posted here an article, wearing a tie may be restricting blood flow to your brain, 2018. Oh God, is that what happened to all us Wellington girls, college girls in winter? By the gods. If we learnt anything, it was how to tie and rock a tie. Because, you know, girls can do anything. Ha ha, for a while there my house was in danger of looking like this one. I really love it, but I have decluttered quite a bit over the past year. Still too much stuff, but it's stuff I still want to keep for now. Purging the old days and old ways is a long process, laughing my ass off. A former lover visited 2 months ago. Oh dear, he had not been to my home before, and he touched everything, marvelled at everything, and checked for dust, which of course, in true Tanya style, is out of control because my muse is Quentin Crisp when it comes to dusting. Housework is not one of my favourite things. I am too often in outer space, cosmically jiving with invisible entities. Ahim. Anyway, that won't be happening again. The man, not the dust and the dreck. Dust, like shit, keeps happening. But if you are a true magician, witch, wild woman, you know how to turn that shit into compost to make beautiful things grow. Dust bunnies and sea monkeys and fertile, furtive imaginings. Fecund, fruity and delightful. Here's the video. Time out London. Hidden behind a small door in East Dulwich is London's House of Dreams, which looked very similar to mine at one stage when I had a lot more clutter and quirkiness going on. I've calmed down a little bit since then. Yes, I know. You was a good girl. Yes, I know. Ecstatic Dance was so magical tonight. The vibe was high and every person there contributed their energy perfectly. I loved the didgeridoo and zither playing by H, who once flirted with me outrageously, by the way. Also too young. I don't know what's wrong with young men. They go a little bit mad when they're around men. I don't know why. It's not like I invite that kind of attention. Anyway, there is that. I haven't seen this person in many years, so I'm over it now. But it was a bit unusual. He was sitting at West End drumming, and I was sitting on the ground with my dog, and he was sitting up high in a chair, and he just looked down and said, "Dance for me." I mean, the cheek of it. Really, dance for me. I think he was trying to tell me that he knew me from Ecstatic Dance and I hadn't recognised him. Well, you know, his hair was different and he looked a bit different, and I was in recovery from the gallbladder and was living my second life, my second chance at life, having come back from that near-death experience. And sometimes I don't remember people. It's not meant to be as an insult. It's just my brain. The sound was spiritual and grounding and very healing. I loved when H played the didge over our bodies as we lay resting on after our frenetic, wild dancing. I could feel it resonating through my entire body and into the earth. I felt a connection to the Australian First Nations who gifted us with their music and their lore. All of us, even a short, fat white woman from New Zealand. I felt embraced by ancient tribal ancestors and custodians of the land. I loved the tribal music also. I hadn't been for several months, and I was so tired this afternoon and full of anxiety. I had to push myself to make it. So glad I did. I feel, well, ecstatic, renewed and recalibrated. It is wonderful to be surrounded by so many like-minded people in such a safe, non-judgment space. Pity it didn't stay non-judgmental. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you, Adrian and Monica, and of course, thank you, Hashem. That means God. So grateful for the last few beautiful nights, watching my talented daughter perform on Thursday, Mama T Shepsnachas at every opportunity, and the wild, carefree, joyous dance on Friday. Oi, my back hurts, but it was wonderful. I wonder what magic I can manifest tonight, winky face. Probably will need to rest. Laughing my ass off. I posted a quote by Feminist Next Door. Tonight, the president, a man credibly accused of sexual assault by 16 women, openly mocked the Me Too movement, suggesting that victims are ultra-sensitive or hyperbolic. The whole crowd laughed. They roared with laughter. Don't tell me to be kind to these fucking people. Indeed. Abhorrent society. Gilead is real. Please can someone with a capital S put the brakes on that before the entire Western civilization, was it ever civilized, goes down in flames. Crystal Inn, this is not a mugging. Short and sweet festivals at Hota, Surfers Paradise. Better publicity shots impending. Alas, no. I didn't get the better shots, is what I mean by that. Never mind. Well, time to schluff. Mama T is utterly exhausted, so the dance will continue, but only in the astral tonight. Beauregard is very happy to have de Mama home at last. Lila Tov, good night. 7th of July 2015. Oh, yes. An egg from my chooks and some epic snuggles with Mr. Socks of blessed memory. I've just made my homemade laundry powder. It is cheap, goes a long way, not as toxic as commercial powders. I gave it up, it was so much bloody work, my goodness. While I was in the laundry, I scrubbed out my mouldy bar fridge and turned it back on. Now I just need food to put in it. The bloody servo took the bond for the hire of the ute out of my bank account twice. They now owe me $300. I am broke until they sort it out and pay me back. They promised to call me back in 10 minutes and didn't. Lying gunnifs. That's Yiddish for thieves. Why can't I ever get treated with respect, efficiency and professionalism? Why does the simplest task become such a fucking struggle? Why are there so many idiots? I asked at the counter if it was another debit as it didn't look right. They blatantly lied to my face and said it was a credit. My blood is boiling. Another fight on my hands to get my money back. I've picked up the freezer from Anushka. The hire of the ute cost $51. I managed to get the freezer off the ute tray by myself and schlepped it to the back of the house. I need to buy a new trolley. It was hard yakka with wobbly wheels and flat tyres. Now having lunch at Macca's, then off home to set up the freezer. Back in time. I'm finally sitting down. Oh no, that must be later in time. I'm finally sitting down to watch TV. I've schlepped the old, still working freezer to the curb in case anyone wants it. Cleaned the newer freezer, got it inside my tiny laundry and switched it on, doing a load of washing, feeling like I ran a marathon doing that, all by myself. 7th of July 2014. Still packing J-Bay's house, nervous breakdown, almost done, just a few more loads to do. Hodor, which was a Lord of the Rings reference. 7th of July 2010, it's a big jump of 3 years. Oh well. Phil Harris, my friend Phil Harris, wrote to me, "Hi, how are you? Mum passed away last night at Wellington Hospital. It was nice. She just fell off to sleep. Yi and I were with her." I replied, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Phil. I just saw this message. I was just thinking about her this afternoon because her favourite song came on the radio. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. May you be comforted amongst the mourners of Zion. I am so glad she had a peaceful passing, and may her soul fly to the Ein Sof Or to continue to light up our lives, hearts and minds. I loved Catherine, Kit and your father very much. I know they were so proud and happy with their kids and grandkids, and I am glad you were there with her when she left this mortal coil. God bless Phil. I'm sorry I didn't get to see her in the past few years, but I still treasure the lovely time we had when I visited your parents 5 years ago. I will always have fond and lovely memories of them both. Take good care. Lots of love, Tanya. And since it's her secular yahrzeit today, lots of love to you, Catherine, wherever you are in the next dimension. So thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. It's another long video and I'm tired, but the work of the processing and the growing and the recalibrating and the processing and the loving and the rebuilding and the healing of the Tanya continues. And here we are, sweeties. So wherever you are in the space-time continuum, be happy, be blessed, be at peace, be joyful, be in love with our earth and our communities, hopefully ones that are in love with you back, am I right? And with your true beloved ones, your partners, spouses, you know, and your family members and your true friends. And remember to also remain in love with your own self and continuously bloom and grow according to the seasons and the vicissitudes of fate. Just keep exponentially unfurling, my beautiful ones. And sooner or later, you'll reach that point in your life where you have peace and happiness in your own heart, mind, body, and soul. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.